credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. After 5 years, Sir Elliot Belgrave has entered his final week as the Governor-General of Barbados. He was celebrated during a farewell service yesterday at the St. Michael's Cathedral. Tristan Ward reports.
The gathering included senior government officials, students and their teachers. A turnout with which Sir Elliot was most impressed and also included his alma mater, Boscobel Primary.
I'm exceedingly happy to see the children from the primary schools in St. Michael and Boscobel. Their principals, I don't understand the hilarity, their principals and their teachers and parents. Your presence here this evening has caused my cup of joy truly to overflow.
Over the years, the Governor-General has celebrated with scores of centenarians, chatted with students from every public primary school on the island, and most recently, started a scholarship trust for students at the University of the West Indies, all of which have forced many to call him the People's Governor-General. Sir Elliot says he has given his all to the job.
I have tried my very best to serve the state and all the people of Barbados. I hope that I have not let anyone down. If I have somehow disappointed anyone, I tender my sincerest apologies for so doing.
The Governor-General also thanked the media for their assistance during his tenure.
I must thank the members of the media for their work in covering my activities fairly and with a high degree of sagacity, prudence, and sensitivity. Members of the Fourth Estate, you have, in my opinion, discharged your duties well, and that is what is expected of a free press and a democracy.
And he paid tribute to his wife of 54 years, Lady Belgrave.
She has been an excellent partner and friend. She has put up with me for these years. Why she did, I don't know. I still don't know. Thank you very much, my darling Loretta.
The Governor-General will demit office this coming Saturday with plans to enjoy a long and peaceful retirement. Tristan Ward, CBC News.
Barbados is working on a security strategy for the tourism industry, and it's to ensure the island remains a safe destination, especially for the threat of terrorism. The details are being discussed at a tourism security training seminar sponsored by the Organization of American States and the Canadian High Commission. It's being held at the Barbados Defense Forces military base at St. Anne's Fort. Last year, Barbados recorded just under 1.3 million visitors, and the economies of the Caribbean are the most dependent on tourism in the world. And given the importance of the sector, OAS representative for Barbados, Francis McBurnett, says more must be done to ensure tourists feel safe. Speaking at the opening ceremony, he said the initiative is part of a broader program throughout the Americas to suppress security threats to tourists, which he says vary from country to country. The seminar, which focuses on honing security tourism skills, is being facilitated by the Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism. Tourism Minister Richard Seeley says Caribbean destinations have used safety and security as a selling point for tourism. However, in recent times, he believes it has come under threat.
The success of our destination very much depends on our ability to provide safety and security. We have tended to focus on some of the other brand elements with a lot more attention than this one, but it is just as important. The cleanliness, the friendliness, accessibility, and those other elements we tended to focus on. But safety and security is important, and we have to make sure that we do it and do it correctly.
Giving your child a smartphone or tablet allows them access to popular social media apps like WhatsApp and Facebook. But did you know that many of these apps have an age restriction? Sharika Griffith tells us more.
It may differ from country to country, but most social media apps recommend children be in their teens to set up an account. and even then, there should still be parental supervision. But according to visiting scholar to the University of the West Indies, Dr. K. Shwereb, children 12 and under are also using popular apps like Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram.
Many of the social media apps have a minimum age of 13. Others have a minimum age of 16. The issue is also that within a particular country, there are also the laws of the land. So a minimum age is only a guide. Now, a lot of them do need parental permission. So if students are using below the age of 13, they're using these social media apps, parents and carers do need to be aware that they need to have given parental permission for them to be used. And I think we need to highlight that much more.
Dr. Shwereb was speaking during a seminar on internet safety for close to 100 primary school students. She says the results of a quiz show while the children know a lot about the use of the internet, more education is needed on its dangers.
The students know a lot about the internet, perhaps more than many of us who are from an older generation, but we also have to teach them to be responsible citizens and responsible digital citizens. And I think sometimes particularly younger children from the primary age group are not always aware of the dangers of using the internet. So that was something which we wanted to look at today.
The seminar was organized by the Pan American Health Organization. PAHO representative Dr. Godfrey Shwereb says the seminar aims to prevent internet use which could harm one's health.
Not necessarily your physical health, although there are bits that can actually cause you physical harm, but more to your mental health. Because a lot of things, and you will hear today, a lot of things that happen when you are on the internet can cause you and others big problems with how you react and how you think.
A similar session was held for secondary students last week. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
Yes, but when life takes unexpected turns, you can still say yes to more. The Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card gives you points with every purchase that you can use to travel to anywhere. Plus, with just 20,000 Scotia points, you can say yes to destinations. With Scotiabank Aero Platinum MasterCard credit card, it's easier to say yes to everything. Apply today.
So, in an effort to test the credibility of this so-called speed squad, we have some random questions for you to answer. How quickly can you change clothes? The bag of groceries on the table. How fast can you guys prepare a meal? And go! All right. Which network gives you the speed you prefer and enjoy?
Join the fastest team and shift your Flow Fiber broadband into high gear by upgrading now at no extra cost for 3 months. Plus, enjoy the best of Flow TV for free.
Last question. Who's the fastest?
I had to ask.
Upgrade now.
The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation has launched a new interactive current affairs program. Walter Point 2 is a 2-hour-long radio show on Q100.7 FM, hosted by Walter Maloney and Walter Blackman on Sundays from 11 to 1. The call-in program is also broadcast live on CBC TV 8. Speaking on the first program, Education Minister Ronald Jones gave the assurance government was handling antisocial and disruptive behavior among school children. Mr. Jones also noted that the dropout rate in Barbados for school children remained minimal as structures were in place to adequately address the challenge.
We have determined that even if a child presents problems within our school system, that child should not be discarded. So our dropout rate in Barbados is exceptionally small, very, 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 very tiny, because again the Act stipulates that you have to be in school once you have not attained the age of 16 or that you have not had 5 years of secondary education. So a child, let's say a child is expelled from school, the parent has a right to appeal to the minister for that child to be placed in a learning environment, and we have placed children at other secondary schools, we've placed them within the private sector, and from time to time, we've also placed them with the Barbados Vocational Training Board.
Minister Jones says government will work on rehabilitating children with issues rather than allowing them to fall through the cracks. He says authorities are considering establishing a special institution to house them.
Some of our children who come from very badly fractured domestic environments, and when they present problems in school, we send them right back to those fractured environments. We're saying that we have to look at a halfway house institution, properly staffed, where persons feel comfortable, where their needs are met, both in relation to their nutritional needs, some of the social needs are met, how they can relate to each other, peer support needs are met. So that is something for the future.
The local community of artists has been praised for efforts to safeguard the Barbadian identity. It comes from acting governor of the Central Bank, Cleviston Haynes. He was speaking at the opening of the Central Bank-sponsored Cropover Visual Arts Festival at the Grand Salle. Lisa Broom has more.
The exhibition features several pieces in 2 and 3 dimension, as well as craft and photography. It was open to the public last night in 3 spaces, including the Grand Salle, as well as the Queen's Park Gallery at Pelican Village, and for the first time at the new Central Bank Exchange Museum on Spry Street. Mr. Haynes told the artists who attended that through their work, they have gone a long way to preserve Barbados' heritage.
At a time when the debate about nationalism versus globalism is raging at home and abroad, we are appreciative of the use of your artistic energies to capture our imagination and awaken our consciousness about things that are truly Barbadian. You have done so using an array of imaginative concepts, creations, and color. Thank you for these glimpses into your perspective of how we as a nation and as a people should safeguard aspects of our cultural identity despite our small size, openness, and proclivity to adapt to external influences.
Meantime, featured speaker Dr. Therese Haggerty encouraged the community not to dismiss people whose initial reaction is to reject or be intimidated by art. The former gallery owner says these people may feel excluded from what could be seen as a special or elite club.
It's easy to be a little condescending about such a person, or to point out that this defensive defiance must be tied to a high degree of insecurity, which very likely would be alleviated by the new information they so absolutely did not want. But let's remember that a lot of folks in their daily lives have to live with a tremendous amount of stress and uncertainty. And for such people, the art they recognize as good, is a kind of confirmation. Someone saw that landscape just as I see it. That is comforting. And for them, as much as for those who are open to many kinds of art, it offers a momentary sense of a shared humanity.
Among the winners of the night were Desiree Maskell for her piece Copper and Brace Necklace, which earned her the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation's Incentive Award, and Patrick Louis, who won the prize for the best depiction of the theme with his piece Harrison Beauty. But the main prize of the night, the Governor's Award, went to Cecil Webb for his piece Rhythm and Wood. The theme of the exhibition is In Search of a Barbadian Aesthetic, and it runs until August 5th. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
The lineup for the Yellow Bashment Soca competition has been completed. This evening it was announced that Stabby secured the wild card spot with Wuckist for the final to be held during Phenomenal Friday at Kensington Oval. The team of Versi Wild and Joe Cloudy is the reserve. There is a suggestion more young people should be encouraged to get involved in activities which will help them to develop positively. This from Lieutenant Colonel Errol Brathwaite. He was speaking at the second installment of the Passing Out Parade for the Junior Cadet Program. The ceremony brought this year's total number of recruits to 240, a total which Lieutenant Brathwaite says meets the Cadet Corps' recruit target. He says the program provides the positive development necessary for the youth.
If you look at the standard of drill this evening, if you look at the way in which these young recruits are standing before you, it is clear to me, as I'm sure it is to you, that our future is in good hands.
4 juvenile turtles of an already endangered species have died as a result of human activity this year. This news from the Barbados Sea Turtles Project's Director of Public Awareness and Education, Carla Daniel. She spoke with our Sharika Griffith following the most recent death.
Injuries resulting from contact with boat propellers have been the most common cause of death of green turtles in recent months. However, the latest death can be directly linked to the indiscriminate dumping of plastic and other man-made materials. When the Barbados Sea Turtle Project got a call about an injured turtle near the careenage, what they found was a clearly ill green turtle, the kind most seen feeding and swimming among beachgoers on west and south coast beaches.
The turtle was particularly emaciated, so the eyes were sunken, there was no flesh around the neck, and there was no meat or flesh around the shoulders. Not only that, but you could feel the turtle's ribs through the plastron. So it was obviously a turtle that was very sick. One of the most apparent things was the fact that the surface of the turtle, the carapace, was covered in silt. So the surface was covered in mud and there was actually algae growing on the surface of the shell. This indicated that the turtle had been floating for a very long time, perhaps even weeks.
The turtle, which Ms. Daniel estimates is between 10 and 15 years old, was taken to a veterinary clinic for x-rays, which showed nothing out of the ordinary.
There were no visible signs of injury on the turtle, so no bruises, no cuts, no open wounds, nothing of the sort. So what was determined was that the best thing to do would be to try to perform surgery on the turtle to see if we could figure out what was wrong. We really had 2 options. One was to leave the turtle in the condition that it was in, and we were 100% sure that the animal would die. There's no way that it would have been able to survive. And the other option would have been to try to do whatever we could to determine what was wrong and to see if it is something that could be corrected or treated.
But the turtle passed away before it could be operated on, which prompted Ms. Daniel to perform a necropsy by removing the lower shell for closer inspection. Not only did she find bits of plastic, but there were also 3 rubber bands and several strands of long black hair. The intestines were blocked and filled with fecal matter, which suggests that the turtle had been eating but was unable to pass its waste, which eventually led to starvation. Given the age of the turtle, she's certain the indigestible materials were consumed while at sea, as he was not expected to come ashore for another 10 years when he reached sexual maturity. And while this is an unusual case, Ms. Daniel believes that's only because many turtles die at sea.
So it dies, body sinks, and it decays at sea, and we never actually encounter it, so we would not know. And often when we have stranded turtles, they wash ashore dead. So by the time they get on the shore, they're dead, they're bloated, they've already been decaying for quite a long time, so it's not possible to do a necropsy. We were only able to do a necropsy because this animal had just recently died and it was still in a condition that would allow us to determine the cause of death.
The turtle will be incinerated when all the necessary tests and samples are completed. Sharika Griffith, CBC News.
CBC's Sean Green has held his first book signing for his fictional novel entitled Jordan Ben and the Giants of the Blue Goth. Speaking at the event at Page's bookstore, he said he was pleased with the response so far for his work.
First-time author, So I'm now launching my book here at Pages today, and I must say that the response has been pretty good by Barbadians. Many people coming over and inquiring, about the book and so on. So the response has been pretty good so far.
The book tells the story of Barbadian Jordan Ben, who has the adventure of a lifetime as he travels into the past with his teacher. Mr. Green says the book's fusion of cultures and themes is what makes it unique.
This book would see a mixture of some Barbadian style, some African style as well, because his best friend is actually an African young lady, and she's going to be featured in every book. And then you're going to be seeing some themes from the Bible as well. And I don't think you're ever going to get to see a novel which mixes Barbadian, African, and biblical themes together. That is what's so unique about this book.
Well, for those who have already read the first book, he says they can look forward to the sequel around this time next year. After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
I have diabetes, and every decision I make is important. I choose Glucerna to maintain a healthy nutrition. I drink it and recommend it to my patients.
Glucerna with Carb Steady is designed for people with diabetes, helps minimize blood sugar spikes, and it's delicious. Glucerna, your good decision of the day.
The globally harmonized system of classification and labeling of chemicals. GHS. Be careful, read the label. It's safety awareness for all people. Be careful and read the label. Safety while using chemicals is our goal. Global labeling, communicating safety information to you. So read your label and please be sure before you pour. The globally harmonized system of classification and labeling of chemicals. GHS.
In Guyana, rape crimes are reportedly on the increase. We hear more in this report.
I sat with activist and co-founder of Red Thread, Karen D'Souza, who expressed concern that the reported cases are not reaching the stage of convictions.
My view is that has a lot to do with, one, the nature of the police investigations, and two, the length of time between the report and the trial.
She stressed that even though there is a much faster process between the reporting and the committing to trial in the High Court, the police investigations leave much to be desired.
There's the issue of missing witnesses, there's the issue of the complainant not really wanting to relive the whole trauma again, facts becoming a little hazy. The fact that defense lawyers are not the most friendly people in the court.
A Division Commander, Marlon Chapman, doesn't share the view expressed by Ms. D'Souza.
As far as my records reveal, we have a decrease in reports of sexual offenses in A Division. And apart from that, where the investigations are concerned, I know that our ranks do good investigations, having had some experience along the line, so I certainly can speak with some form of authority.
Commander Chapman further explained the procedure by which reported rape cases are treated. He says the cases go through several stages before reaching the DPP's office for final advice. Another area highlighted by Ms. D'Souza is the new Sexual Offences Act, which is to activate preventative measures and introduce a national task force to tackle areas regarding sexual offences.
A peek into the world of sports is just ahead, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.